What was particularly of this film that was something that ended up being less complicated than you expected?
Nothing was less complicated. Everything was just more complicated.
So, everybody's dead. How about we start at the beginning?
Hi, Naomi. Hi, Channing.
What's up?
Hi, Christian, Alia, Simon.
Hello.
Zoe, thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
Of course.
First of all, I wanted to tell you, I love your work in Big Little Lies. I think you're an amazing actress. And
Thank
I
you.
discovered you're an amazing director.
Thank you so much.
This film is a conversation opener and memorable. I love the way that you give context to the audience through these flashbacks and memories. Is something that was on your mind while writing the script, or was something that you discovered while filming and editing the film?
You know, the film definitely went through quite a transformation, going from writing to shooting to post-production to editing. But specifically because the film deals with the concept of memory, I had an epiphany while editing that, you know, I was actually being so linear. I think I had to make things very linear in order to write them, because you kind of have to understand, you know, what's happening and how things happen. But then there was so much freedom once I realized, okay, now I know what happened linearly. What happens when I break that open and play with the story and make it more experiential? Because I think for a long time I was so concerned about making sure everything made sense. And then once I let that go and really brought the audience in, I want this to be something you experience rather than witness. That was a big shift, and I was really happy to find that with my ending.
We see Slater King as this untouchable billionaire, which sadly we have a lot of them in the world. So what was the exciting part, or the most exciting part for you to play someone as this kind of character?
When Zoe kind of brought this to me, and like I think we both consciously tried to not. She started writing this way before some of these, like, you know, people have been exposed to having done these things, and so it was really clear to us that don't latch on to any of these people. Don't pick anything from any of these people to try and like remind the world that these people, you know, it's a little bit of this guy, it's a little bit of that guy. It because it's not like, you know, he is just a representation of a man that has truly gone over to like some other side of justification of whatever he's doing, and he's doing something good in his mind, like on some level, but he's truly not seeing things, I think, clearly.
Slater King and his gang are like these untouchable billionaires, so which sadly they still exist in this world. So how was getting into them shoes?
Well, that is one of the great things about getting to be an actor, is you do get to step into these different characters, these different personalities from time to time, and kind of escape. And one of the aspects here was to try and think about, you know, what would I do in this particular situation, and then do the opposite of that. And that's what made it possible to kind of create the character of Vic, because I don't think there's anything in me that would hopefully go along the same kind of choices that he would.
What was particularly of this film that was something that ended up being less complicated than you expected?
Nothing was less complicated. Everything was just more complicated. No one can prepare you for what it takes to direct a film. And, you know, even though I've been on many movie sets for a very long time, and I spoke to friends of mine that had directed and directors that I've worked with, there's just really I don't have children, but I would think that it's similar to, you know, having a kid. My close friends who have children just say, like, nothing can prepare you for this experience. You just kind of have to do it. I do think there's a similarity when it comes to filmmaking.
While strange things start happening right away in the film, the major part of it, while you are watching it, is just like a relaxed vacation. So how was coming back and forth the mood in the set, going into the deep parts and going into just like this festivity?
It was kind of like, it was interesting because like you have to balance them out. Like I guess in percentages you're like, yeah, we're chilling, but you know, dependent on what scene, even the laid back scenes, there might be a slight tension somewhere that you want to play on. And then obviously, you know, you have these like quite big like more intense scenes.
Yeah, juicy scenes.
Yeah, the juicy for sure. But like, it was really, really fun. You know, like you never get to shoot in order, so you're kind of flip-flopping between things constantly and doing a lot of stuff in one day. But it was really fun to do that, and they kind of fed on each other actually as the shoot went.
Like, you know, I don't know if you've ever had like a really long weekend of like partying and friends and whatnot, and you're like, wait, what day is it? Like, what, I'm really not sure what day it is, and that's kind of how it feels on a movie, because you're like, you wake up and you know that you got stuff to do, but you don't know what stuff it is, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, so we're in this part of the movie, okay, all right, so
cool.
wait, what day are we shooting now? Like, what's, and it's so very disorienting, and I think so it probably helped.
We lost our minds, basically.
Everybody lost their minds.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, you know, like you said, I think it has a few themes. This movie feels in the beginning like a fun comedy, and then it's a suspense thriller, and then it's a horror movie, and then it's also a revenge movie. So, as you know, we don't shoot the movie sequentially in order. So, you know, you jump around and shoot different parts, so you have to be very clear on, which ZOÉ did a very good job of, is making sure you know at what point in the movie, where are we? That's where it gets very technical, and you trust the people that are in charge to communicate that with you, and ZOÉ just did a great job. This is a very ambitious movie to make. She wrote this, directed it, edited it with somebody, and I'm just very impressed. Not surprised, impressed what ZOÉ pulled off for a first-time movie. That's not easy to do. So I credit her.
And I love that you choose thriller and kind of like horror as a medium to explore this genre, and a lot of heavy and real world. What is the most important thing you want audiences to get from this story?
I liked what you said earlier, actually, about a conversation opener. I liked the way you said that, and that's exactly what I want this film to be. And I don't necessarily want to tell people what to feel. There's not a right answer, as long as you allow yourself to feel. And I do think and hope that people will leave this feeling entertained, but also excited to have that opening, like to feel that opening and walk towards it and have those conversations.
Definitely, I ended up getting out of the cinema and wanted like to talk with.
Yeah, you want to go with your friends and then like go to a bar and talk about it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Why it is important for you to be part of telling Frida's story, which sadly still is the story of many women?
I think Frida is a great, character to relate to. She's someone who wants more and thinks she deserves more, and has been kind of put in her place for too long, and has been told to be invisible, literally. And playing her friend in it, I think there's a lot of girls like that who, you feel small, so your life stays small. And when you see an opportunity to go big, you jump for it. And maybe sometimes you don't see all the red flags or second guess it too much when you should. But I think, her journey is a very important one of like self-worth. And I think a lot of women go through that. Sometimes you want a powerful man to tell you that you're worth more, when maybe you got to do it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's still happening. The more we can tell and speak on this subject matter and expand on it, it can encourage people to talk about it in their own lives and how it impacts them personally, and then hopefully enough people talk about it and you can figure out a way to make some bigger changes that impacts everyone in a positive way. And I think really like a film like this, or film in general, stories in general, are there for that reason.
You filmed in Mexico.
Yeah.
So excited. I'm in Mexico, so it was really cool to see the Sumaya Museum. So can you talk a little bit about like the Mexican experience of filming here? Oh,
it was amazing. We picked Mexico specifically because of the hacienda that we shot at, which was called Temezon, which was amazing. Because it was so hard. We looked all over the world to find big buildings that had big properties that had many different elements and locations, and Mexico is so special and its architecture is so beautiful. And then once we decided to shoot there, we had to find a place to do the opening. And we went scouting in Mexico City, which was just, I love Mexico City. I also loved Mérida, we shot very close to Mérida. But I really fell in love with the culture and our crew. And when we looked at all these different museums and places, I remember looking at that museum and just thinking, oh my God, there's no way they're gonna let us shoot here. This is like crazy. And when we got it, I was so excited because just visually, it's one of the most striking places I've ever seen.
P.S. I just want to tell you the OG name of the film. I think it was.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. I you know it's I love our new title, and I do think it was the right move. But I love that people know about that original seed, and people who get it, and it's almost more fun that way. But thank you.
I wanted to thank you. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you again. You're an amazing director, and I hope a lot of people watch this movie and get as entertained, as thrilled, and also as horror as I was watching the movie.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Mucho gusto. Hasta mañana.
Gracias.
I need to know what's really going on.